the 4th of July. What's up, guys? Human Reacts. I've actually said that for the first time. Thank you for the round of applause. Thank you. Right, so Spiderman Far From Home, okay? Saw it on my birthday. I didn't even know what word to sum up this film. It was just extraordinary piece of work. Far From Home just destroyed Homecoming, right? I liked Homecoming, but Far From Home just sets the tone for Tom Holland. And it was, if not the best Spider-Man film in the MCU, it was the best Spider-Man film. It had everything. The Mysterio, everyone was so hooked on him from the start because the way they showed him in the trailers, and they wanted to see that relationship with him and Peter, you know. There's no Stark now. Who's he going to trust? Who's he going to find for advice? And he sees Mysterio as like a big brother. When we see him develop this sort of friendship into like a brothership, then it becomes so close that he even gives him something very precious to Mysterio because he trusts him that much. And Peter's a smart kid but made a big mistake during this film. Stark left him his glasses, which are called Edith, and he can control things, and it's like a piece of technology which can basically manipulate what's around him. He could see who's texting something on somebody's phone. He nearly checked what Mary Jane was saying on text to one of the characters, because there's like a love interest sort of thing going on. And it's quite cool how they did it with MJ, because Zendaya does a good job. The whole MJ thing at first was a bit, I don't know what they're going to do. Is it going to just be the same as the Tobey Maguire kind of thing? But it was really different. I liked how they represented how Peter is. So similar to Tobey Maguire. Like, I do feel Tom Holland has learnt from the actors previously that played Spider-Man. Like, he knows how to be that cool Spider-Man like Andrew Garfield was. And then he's that geeky kind of nerdy guy as Peter Parker. So he's found the perfect balance, as Thanos would say. I want to see something with action. It's got a twist. It's got that sort of happy-go-lucky vibe. It's got everything in it, honestly. Even a bit of romance. And it wasn't like a cringy type of romance, you know. You felt like, go on, Peter, get in there, mate. Come on, son. Go on. Throughout the whole film, I wasn't bored. Speaking to my friends afterwards, and we did think that the film was a little bit short. But I feel like that's because we were so hooked on it being a longer movie. But after Endgame, I guess you can't really expect a big movie. It's going to be like very low-key going into Phase 4. A nice, somber way for it to end Phase 3. Apart from Endgame being pretty much, you know, the end. Just to end the phase, I think Spider-Man was appropriate. And I did like the story a lot, and we were very curious what's going to happen with Peter. Because after the whole Stark does a snap, what is he going to do with his life? It's obviously going to hit him, you know, because he looked up to Stark, pretty much a role model. It was really cool to see how Spider-Man fought on his own in this one. And the way he fought Mysterio was great. There will be a post-credit scene I will talk about as well, because it was a very, very cool moment. If you really did like how Tom Holland Spider-Man is, then Tom Holland does such a great job as Spider-Man in this. He is more than Peter Parker. He's more than Spider-Man. He is himself. This is what's important about Spider-Man, is we didn't want just a repeat of Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield. Tom Holland is Tom Holland. I'm so glad he's established that, and you gotta give it to him. He's been Spider-Man 5 times now. So Civil War, Homecoming, Infinity War, Endgame, and then Far From Home, of course. And that's more appearances than Tobey Maguire made over a 5-year span with the original Spider-Man trilogy. Andrew Garfield over 2 years. So it's amazing what he's done in such a small amount of time. Made more appearances in a short amount of time, and I'll give credit to the writers and, of course, Kevin Feige and how he's brought Spider-Man in. He could have completely made this wrong or completely screwed it up, because they really set the tone with Spider-Man in the past, but I'm really glad that they brought him back, and he is a very important person in this MCU universe. I'm really curious what's going to happen with him. There's been rumours about him having a 9-movie thing. So 3 set in school, 3 set in college, and then 3 set as an adult. I'm just curious why there'd be 9 films. I mean, Tony Stark has had 9 or 10 appearances in the MCU, respectively, over 11 years. But Spider-Man to have 9 appearances in 9 films, then he's got already 5. Can you imagine that? He would have been more influential than Iron Man was in terms of appearances. But Iron Man's Iron Man. And that's another thing. Spider-Man realized that he's not Iron Man, and he had to accept that. And it was really cool how he came to grips with the death of Tony Stark, and Nick Fury really motivated him in this, saying, you're going to step up, or you're going to just let it be. I was interrupted there and pissed me off low key. So, yeah, I was just saying, Nick Fury basically motivating Spider-Man and Peter to take the limelight here. It's up to you. Iron Man wouldn't have done the snap if you weren't around. He would have just completely, he doesn't feel like no one else is reliable enough other than Spider-Man. And that relationship with him, he saw a lot in Spider-Man. He thought one day he could lead the Avengers. It's true. He is a leader. Once he steps up, he can do that. He can show people, no, Tony, but I'm here and I'm going to help. And I'm going to be the one to take the lead. And he's had the influences of Cap around and all these other heroes, but Peter realizes that Fury is working with Mysterio. He tries to recruit Peter. Peter tells Fury to just ask Captain Marvel and Thor for help, but they're not available, so Spider-Man has to be the one he gets to help, Fury went to Spider-Man, and he knew he could rely on him, despite Stark or Cap he could rely on, or Thor, or even Captain Marvel. Curious why Captain Marvel wasn't around. Very curious on going into Phase 4 how Spider-Man is going to raise the stakes, with what goes on. He's going to fill that Iron Man role. And then that Cap role, obviously, Falcons become Cap. I think maybe Bucky will get it. And then Spider-Man will become pretty much one of the main figures. I'm excited for Spider-Man. There's also a lot of funny scenes in Far From Home. So, like, at the start, he just goes straight into this situation where Peter's, like, planning what he does for MJ. Because he's, like, they've obviously, like, skipped a lot of stuff. They've gone straight into the whole Peter-MJ thing. And he's like planning stuff with Ned, and he's like telling Ned what he's going to do on the trip. Like this, it's like he's really young still, so he's trying to balance his life with school and then obviously being Spider-Man. MJ like kind of clocks that he's Spider-Man, but before it was like Mary Jane was so dumb, she didn't know a thing, like he was Spider-Man. From home, they kind of played it off like she knew it the whole time. And I just feel like, as much as that's cool, it would have been cool to see her surprised. But I think it was more the comedic relief that she just knew. She just like, yeah, I knew. Like, then she goes like 67% of what she thought was real, and she didn't know that he was actually like legit. Because Spider-Man just has to let her know that he's Spider-Man. Peter has to live with that, and then later on, Nick Fury like questions him on who he told. And this is a twist with Mysterio, so it's like, there's a lot of surprise and twist in this, and it really does make you think, do you trust who's near you? Do you trust this person? It's like, it feels like an illusion, like what you're saying to this person is like that, but you're being deceived, you don't know what that person says. It's very relatable as well, so for the humour, the realism of this, I loved it. And the effects with Mysterio, using the holograms, and there's a lot of twists with him using Bath, so apparently that was his technology. I still don't know if it is or not, because he deceived everyone about the whole multiverse thing, although I think that is true, but they're just teasing it for now. And I think the holograms was the work of Stark, but he just blamed Stark with that, unless that was true. But it's unlike Tony to steal someone's work, because he's such a smart guy. Like, he created time travel, so how can he steal someone's piece of work on holograms, Just doesn't make that much sense. The audience at the BFI in London were incredible. Apart from the entire film, I just feel like I just wasn't sitting with real Marvel fans. Just a bunch of bandwagons. But this post-credit scene was worth the while, and it's on a big, big twist. So, going into Phase 4, we've got something that's going to be like, oh, I just want to know what happens. This is a great film. Far From Home is definitely one of the best, so check it out. If you want to go into the film and fully embrace it, I do recommend you go to an IMAX theatre or just basically a better cinema from your local, because the audience and the environment, it makes a huge difference on how you see the film. Check it out in the best way you can, embrace it, enjoy every moment of it, because literally this is a very enjoyable one. And I'll be honest, there was nothing in the film I felt that was wrong with it. The only thing I would have said is like maybe a little bit longer, but that's it. The film was longer than Homecoming, I think, by a little bit, but it's pretty much the same length, and I feel it's enough for Spider-Man. In the bigger grand scheme of things, he's going to have more influence going forward into Phase 4. So I just can't wait till this Spider-Man's fully developed and what he can do in the MCU.